Today's book is The Invisible Boy,
written by Trudy Ludwig. The best way to get information about a book or an author is to go to Google and look for that person's name. So here's her name, click onto that site right there, and her website comes up. And you'll see information about the author, about the book she's written, some reviews, some other resources. And if you want to buy the book, you can buy it directly from this author's webpage. It gives you also the fact that you can buy it through online retailers like Amazon. And I bet most of these are going to be hardback books. So when you're at home hanging out, going through the internet surfing, just type in your favorite author and see what comes up. I hope you enjoy the book.
Now sometimes kids do feel invisible in the classroom because there's so much other stuff going on in the classroom. You have kids who are making noise over here, you have kids who are always asking the teacher questions, doing things they shouldn't be doing. So some kids do feel like they're invisible, like they don't matter. How do you feel when kids are always yelling and screaming in class?
I feel like I'm not even there because sometimes it interrupts me when I'm trying to speak to someone.
One way to help the situation is make sure you as a student are always doing the right thing. So my question to you is, are you the invisible kid, or are you the kid always making a bunch of noise in class? If you are the invisible kid, try to break out of your shell. Don't let that happen to you.
I feel like people don't acknowledge that I'm there and I'm trying to talk to someone, but they don't listen because of someone is being loud and like talking low.
If you are the kid making a bunch of noise, calm down. Let other kids have an opportunity to participate in class.
Really confused because I can't hear the teacher when a student is talking during the teacher, so I get things messed up when I'm trying to listen to the teacher.
So, enjoy the book. If you have questions, make sure you raise your hand and we'll stop and talk about it.
The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig, illustrated by Patrice Barton. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Mrs. Carlodi has trouble noticing him in her classroom. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. Nathan has problems with what Mrs. Carlodi calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. The best players get picked first. Then the best friends of the best players. Then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left, still waiting and hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. "We've got enough players for each team," he tells the others. "Let's play ball." In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. "The rope swing over the pool was awesome," says JT. "Yeah, so was the water slide," adds Fiona. "That was the best pool party ever." "I'm so glad you guys had fun," says Madison. Everybody did, except Brian. He wasn't invited. At choosing time, while the other kids play board games and read, Brian sits at his table, doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings. "Thank you for toasting my marshmallow!" Space aliens locked in intergalactic battles. "I got you now!" Greedy pirates digging for treasure. "Crackers! Arr! Yay!" And superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. Hi. Hi, friend. Have a cookie. On Monday morning, Mrs. Carloti introduces Justin, a new student, to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. "What's that?" asks Madison as she points at Justin's food. "It's bulgogi." What? Bulgogi. It's Korean barbecue beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really good. Do you want to try some? There's no way I'd eat bulgogi. And the kids laugh. All of them, that is, except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. Justin: "I thought the bulgogi looked good." Brian: "Yum!" At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing. "You're Brian, right?" "Yeah." "Thanks for the note." "Hey, Justin!" Emilio calls out from the tetherball court. "You're up next." "Sorry, I gotta go," says Justin. "By the way, that's a really cool drawing," he adds before taking off. Back in class, Mrs. Carloti asks the kids to team up in 2s or 3s for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off. Brian heads toward Justin. "I'm already with Justin," says Emilio. "Find someone else." Brian looks at the floor, wishing he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. "Mrs. Carloti said we can have up to 3 people in our group. We're only 2. Come on, Emilio. Let him work with us." "Okay, I guess." Mrs. Carloti gives the class directions for the project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in that photograph. Use your imagination and have fun. "Whoa, cool," says Emilio. "What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that?" "I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story," says Justin. Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. The crooked story we made up on the spot. It's lunchtime again, Brian's least favorite part of the day. Another 20 long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everyone else but him. "Brian!" he hears someone shout. "Hey, Brian! Over here!" Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian as he makes room for him at the table. "Cookie? Thanks." Maybe, just maybe, Brian's not so invisible after all.
I feel like I'm invisible. Like they ignore me. And I don't like it.
When kids are always distracting me, it makes me feel mad because they're interrupting me when I'm trying to ask questions. It just makes me mad.
I don't like people interrupting because I can't really hear what the teacher's trying to make us learn if they're trying to talk over.
It makes me feel frustrated because I just try to do the right thing and then they get all the attention and like they get the one to be called on when I know the right answer. And it just makes me feel sad.
When kids are talking in class and like they're not supposed to be, it gets me really annoyed because I can't figure out what I'm doing. And it's just really hard.
When people are acting like I'm invisible, I feel like they don't care about me and I'm just not important.
I just feel so lonely.
If you are the invisible kid, try to break out of your shell. Don't let that happen to you. If you are the kid making a bunch of noise, calm down. Let other kids have an opportunity to participate in class.
My name is Dwayne Harrell. I'm the librarian at South Salem Elementary School. I have been using these books and audio to help engage my students in class as well as those online during our current situation of COVID 2020. The goal is to give kids access to videos or good content that they can look at and use and learn from. At no times are we trying to profit from these books and audios put together. It's just a way or a tool to get information to students to maybe give them exposure to other methods of learning. So thank you. Once again, my name is Dwayne Harrell. If you have a question, please let me know.